Hello. 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 Welcome to another Tarot Tuesday takeover. We are now live. Hi, Hexen. Great to see you. Let's give chance for some others to join, and then, regardless, we'll get started, and they can join in as we go along. But we'll have a chance to perhaps some to find it that's still not used to finding this channel. So everybody knows Jen's channel. So once again, I'm here doing my Tarot Tuesday takeover at the request of Jen, who is uh, feeling better. She's feeling better than she has done for a while. She's just gradually getting better now. She's still doesn't feel ready to go back to doing her videos the same. Yet she needs a bit longer, so she asked me to step in once again um, to do Tarot Tuesday, which I happily said that I would do. So continue to send healing energy to both Jen and to Peter. It's certainly working, and just reinforce it, keep it going, and I'm sure we'll soon be seeing Jen once again. So today, the theme for today is all about questions, and the title is A Question of Questions, namely questions that we ask the tarot. And are there good questions? Are there bad questions to ask the tarot? What are the best ways to question the tarot in order to get the best response in a reading? And here is Jen now in the chat. Welcome. Great to see you. So yes, are there good questions? Are there bad questions? Are some better than others? I would say that there are good questions and there's some that are better than others. I love you too, Jen, and I'm quite happy to help in whatever way I can. So, what kind of questions do we think of when we're doing a tarot reading? Say that somebody comes to us for a tarot reading. What sort of common questions do we get asked? I say we, as I don't tend to get asked that many. I don't tend to read for others a lot. But if we don't read for others, what kind of questions do we ask? And I'm going to discuss whether or not they're the right kind of questions to ask, or whether there's a better way of inquiring of the tarot. Because anybody that's been reading tarot for a while and has done it on a regular basis will know that tarot can be a funny thing. And it doesn't always give you the response that you necessarily want. So when you want a really specific answer, asking for guidance. Now, to me, asking, hello, Emma. To me, asking for guidance, to me, that's a general question, and that's a good question to ask. But it could be something like, oh, will I will I find a new life partner, or um, will I be reunited with this person or that person? You'll get these kind of questions, and I'm going to put up a question here now. Here we go. Will I get the job? Now, how good a question is that? Well, on the surface, it's a reasonable uh, inquiry to make to divine the answer. Will I get the job? But is it as good as it first appears? Because if you look at it, will I get the job? The answer to that is either going to be a yes, you will, or a no, you won't, or I'm not telling you, or it may be a maybe, or something like that. Some kind of frustrating answer. Oh, time, yeah. When will this happen? When will that happen? Yeah, those are ones as well. I'm going to deal with timing a bit later on. So now, what I'm going to share tonight is what I believe to be the best approach. Um, it's not the only approach. You can do questions that want. There are yes and no, like spreads that you can get a yes or a no, but and the different methods for doing that. But I personally don't think that tarot is the best means to get a yes or a no answer. You'd be better using a pendulum or something else, in my mind, if you want a clear cut yes or no. Um, because tarot to me is too nuanced, too complex to give a simple yes or no answer. That's been my experience, and I can only talk from my experience. So, will I get the job? To me, it's too specific. It's saying you either want a yes answer to that or a no answer to that. Now, if it was going to say no, for instance, then that'd be it. You'd say, "Oh, I'm not going to get the job," and you'd probably give up. You become disillusioned. You become disheartened. But it wouldn't explain necessarily as to um, why you weren't going to get the job. And going to the belief factor that this is only the anticipated likelihood if all things are equal, the energies keep moving the way they're moving, this is the likely outcome. It doesn't even suggest how you can change that no to a possible yes, which it may be. Because there may be things that you're doing at the moment that will make it that you won't get the job. But if you change some of your behavior, some of the things that you're doing, maybe there's a chance that you can get the job. But if you're just simply looking for a yes or no, then it's limited. So, what would be a better question? Well, to me, the key thing here is to ask open-ended questions. By that I mean a question like this. This is a bit more open-ended. It's still about your career. It's still a career question, but it's saying, how can I advance in my career? What can I do to advance myself in my career? Um, that kind of question will open you up to getting an answer from the tarot that will give you possible changes in attitude, in perception, in the way you communicate. It may indicate a blockage that needs to be removed. before you can advance further. It can indicate required growth in a certain area. All these strengths you can focus on, all these kind of things can come from a question like, how can I advance in my career? And in my mind, if you're doing that, if you're following the guidance you get from that question, then when there's a job that would be suitable for you, that's right for you, if you're doing all these things that advised by the tarot to advance in your career, sooner or later, you're going to get a job that's right. Anyway, um, asking will I get the job is putting the control of things outside onto something else. Whereas how can I advance in my career? It's putting it back on you and what you can do and how you can influence the way that you move forward. So that is a better way of framing it. So when we come to question the tarot, we can, or someone comes to us, we may need to suggest, if it's not the ideal way that what they're asking, let's get to the heart of what they really want, and rephrase it in a way that we can get the best answer out from the tarot. And so the key lesson there here as well is to keep the focus on yourself. That means don't put it on things that are beyond your control. Keep the focus on what you can do in any given situation, which also means that you don't necessarily, you get a lot of questions, don't we, that I don't tend to like, where someone will come and ask, well, will this person do this? Will this person come back to me? What will this person do? What does this person really think of me? And you're doing a reading for someone else through a third party. And to me, that's not the best kind of thing to do. It should be focused on the person that's actually come for the reading, or yourself if you're reading for yourself. So keep the focus on you and what your role is. Okay. So, and to do that, you have to take ownership of the situation, take responsibility for the path that you're on. Okay, so when you're coming to ask the tarot for something, do it with an attitude that you're going to take ownership of whatever situation it is that you're seeking a reading about. That it's your reading, either for you personally or for the person who who's asked for the reading. It's for the querent, whoever that may be. It's what you can do in the situation. Because at the end of the day, only you can influence what you can do. You can't control people. You can't, as wonderful sometimes as we think that might be, that we can make people do what we want. It's not really a healthy thing to do. And yeah, the third party question, how about what can I do to help my boyfriend see that we should be together? But of course, even that, what can I do to help my boyfriend see that we should be together? It implies, first of all, that you should be together. That maybe you're assuming that we should be together, and that the boyfriend's got to see that truth. He's got to see that we should be together. But maybe you need to see that perhaps you shouldn't be together. So if you don't answer questions on what other people are up to, how would you make any money then? Um, well, I mean, that's a personal choice, but personally, um, you you have to decide what you're prepared to do. Uh, if maybe you need to, maybe you just need to suggest that your actions can make a difference into uh, how the other person may react, which is more or less what Jen was saying. Not necessarily to specifically see that it's right that you be together. That remains to be seen. But at least they can become more open to the possibility and to explore whether you should be together. If you put something into your behavior following the guidance from the reading. So if you put it that you can still make a difference in the situation by changing your actions, changing your words, um, it may indirectly influence the other person. So if you put it like that, then I think you could still sort of. I think if you're charging for a reading, then uh, that would be, if you put that over well enough. I think you could do that. Um, but if they won't take that, then maybe you're not the right person to do the reading for them, and maybe they need to go to somebody that does do that. Um, I'm not suggesting that you can't do it. I'm just saying that I personally, and many people that I know, would feel uncomfortable with doing a reading based on the third party's actions. Uh, they would mostly do it for the person that is asking for the reading, and focus on them. So that's my response to that question about how would you make money. Well, how if you if you're charging for readings, it's part of the ethics thing, and what each person is prepared to do, and having a uh in having a reading. I mean, yes, I mean we do want to know often, um, is this going to happen or is it not going to happen? But I'm going again on the principle that the future is not set in stone, and if the is this going to happen is based on the current energy of what's happening now, um, then as I said before, it may be a no, but then that's it. You're just going to take the no, and you're not going to learn anything. But maybe there's a reason that at the moment the answer is no, because of the way that you're behaving, that your actions, the things that you're putting out there. Um, whereas if you ask for a reading of what to change and what your blockages might be, then maybe then what was once a no would suddenly become a more of a yes. That, well, now you're putting this right energy out there. It's possible that this is going to happen. So so that's uh, that's the other thing that I would suggest. So we take ownership of the situation. Like, another yes or no is, will I win the lottery? Now, of course, we'd all like to ask this question and get the answer yes, and that we're going to win a lot of money, and that's going to solve all our problems. And I'm not saying that this can't happen. Uh, unless of course you don't play the lottery, and then of course asking the tarot, will you or won't you win the lottery, is a bit pointless, because if you don't play it, then no, you won't. I don't need to ask the tarot to give that answer. But in how many cases is it likely to say yes, for a start? And two, what time period are you giving it to? Am I going to win the lottery this year, or in 5 years' time, or 50 years' time, or whatever, however, depending how old we are, of course. Um, so, that again is a yes or no answer. And also, it's putting your situation into the hands of something outside of yourself. Okay. And yes, it'd be great if we could win the lottery and get the money that we need to do the things. Uh, yeah. Um, so, we can go and get the commune sorted and all that kind of thing. But a more really realistic question, sorry, um, to that is, what can I do to improve my financial situation? So that's putting the responsibility back on you. You're taking responsibility for the situation. So you're recognizing that you're responsible for your own financial situation. And what you can ask the tarot is, what can I do to improve that financial situation? Get guidance towards that. So you're taking responsibility for your own situation. You're not expecting something from outside just to suddenly come and answer all your problems and take all your worries away. As nice as we may feel that would be, and I'm not saying that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be open to the possibility of um, winning the lottery. Of course, many people play the lottery hoping that they might, but there should not be a reliance on the fact that your situation shouldn't be dependent on that, because um, the likelihood is that you won't, by probability. So, and if the tarot was to tell you that, say, no, well, then you're still in that financial situation that you're in, and you're not going to get help from winning the lottery. So you're still stuck in the same position. It's not gained you anything. It's not benefited you by taking that viewpoint. Whereas, what can I do? It's something that you can do to improve your financial situation, whether it be find a new source of income. Maybe you could be selling something. Maybe you could um, find an extra job, or something like that. So, you know, even smart investments, if you're of that mind, that are probably going to have more of a chance of a return. No, that's all right, Jen. I wasn't really looking at the comments anyway. Um, so again, this puts the responsibility and also the empowerment. The questions that we're focusing on here are empowering questions. And I believe a tarot reading is there to empower you to be able to move forward from the situation that you're in, what the root of what you're seeking and reading about. Um, so um, that would be a better question to ask. So And it's best to keep the focus on the present. Now, tarot is often used to do future predictions, and I've already said about, to me, the future prediction is based on the way that things are moving at present, and if they continue in this way, this is the likely outcome further down the line. But of course, again, the empowering thing about that is that our actions or changes in action can influence uh, the final outcome. It could change course. It could totally change the outcome if we change our behavior. So we don't have to take that future prediction as absolute set in stone. It's saying that this is the likely outcome if you keep going the way that you're going. But the empowering thing about that is to say, but you have the choice to either keep going the way you're going or to make some changes, which will then possibly change the outcome. So, and if you but so you can have a future element to it, but recognize that it's still the future is decided by what you do in the now. So what you do now in the present will impact what happens in the future. So that's basically what I've just said, is that what you do now in the present will influence and impact upon what happens in the future. Now, what about the other way around? What about this? Did I do the right thing? Again, that often implies a yes or a no. But this is something you did in the past. And this kind of question to me is is not really helpful because you're questioning your actions. Did I do the right thing? You know, I'm in this situation here. Uh, is it because I did this? Did I do the right thing there? Um, and this is something that's happened that you can't change. So the focus shouldn't be on that. Um, it should be more like, um, what can I do to make the most of this situation? So you've got your present situation that may have resulted from a past action, but that's it. You can't change what you've done, but you can make the most of the present situation. So you're asking then the tarot to show you how you can make best use of your current situation to move you forward. So I hope that we're all beginning to get an idea as to what makes a good question and what doesn't make a good question. Hi, Donna. Yes, and very often the tarot will say, "What do you think?" So, and as frustrating as a question as that may be, uh, there 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 is a sense, there is a bit of usefulness in the tarot asking us that question. What do we think? Because maybe when the tarot asks that, as much as that we get frustrated by that, because we're saying, well, we're coming to you for that answer, for the answer, Um, maybe what the tarot is suggesting is that we have more of an idea about what the answer is than what we realize, of what the function of the tarot at that point is, like a mirror. to reflect back to us and to say, well, you do know. What do you think? What's your gut reaction? What is it deep down that you feel about this? Um, it is a bit like therapy, but tarot is a bit like that. It will say back to you, well, what do you think? What do you know? Because the tarot helps you to get in contact with your higher self, with that inner voice of that knowledge that lies within you that you know anyway, and obviously wants to help you confirm what you actually know inside. So the reason it asks you, what do you think, is because um, is that you probably know the right thing to do, the right answer, but you need a bit of encouragement and a bit of guidance and a bit of focus to help you explore that. And that if you think about it, um, when you question how you do feel about a situation, then sometimes that will give you the answer that you need. So sometimes the tarot saying, what do you think about it, is actually the right answer for it to give, in my opinion. And it's frustrating because we all come, we're coming to ask the tarot a question and we want an answer. Uh, and but sometimes the answer is not necessarily just in the cards. It's more within ourselves, and the cards are a means of accessing that answer within ourselves. So that's why I feel like when we do readings on the channel, that general readings are usually pretty good because it's more or less like saying, what what does the universe want me to know right now? What should I be focused on? What should I know? What action should I be taking? What should be doing right now? It can confirm that the path you're on is the right path, um, and what action you need to take as you move along that path. So I like general readings because it doesn't put too much of a restriction on what the tarot can say, um, and it can still highlight relationships. When you do a general reading, you can often find that the universe wants to tell you about a relationship, or it can be about your finances. So when you ask for a general reading, um, you can still get some of these issues highlighted. You're just not restricting it to one particular area, because sometimes as well, one area can affect another. For example, your financial situation may be affecting your relationship. So, you there's that element too, that this it's the question can be a little bit more complex. The answer is more complex. Sorry, to what may seem to be a simple question about a relationship, the answer may be, well, there's problems in your relationship, and some part of that problem is your financial situation. So, to me, that's why I believe that tarot is best geared for more open-ended, more general readings. And that's not to say that you can't ask for a relationship reading, career reading. Of course you can. Um, and tarot will still find a way of bringing these other elements in. Um, and it may also be that when we ask a question, we'll only get part of the answer now. We want everything now. We want everything. We want all the answer complete, wrapped in a tiny bundle, and we want it presented to us as to, here is the answer to your question. Off you go. That's all you need. But quite often, it's all part of a journey. And what tarot will tend to do is give you what you need to know for now. It may only be um, the first part of the answer, but you need to know the first part for now. So take what you get and move with that. And then maybe if you ask again, okay, Hexen, take care. Um, love you too, Hexen. Um, and maybe what was I saying? Making donuts with Josh. Oh well, that's yes. Um, go. um, that's certainly a thing to. You have my blessing to leave to go and do that. Um, so it will give you what you need for now, and as you do that, then when you're ready for the next part of what you need to do, you may do another reading, and it will give you the next step. So sometimes your answer will come in parts because you only need the part that you need for now. And once you've done that part, then you can move on to the next part later on. So don't be surprised sometimes if you don't get a full answer. It just means that you've got what you need to be going on with right now. So we've started by looking at questions. I have to have a drink because my mouth's going dry. Better. We started by looking at questions. But of course, now we're sort of focusing on answers, kind of answers that we can get. You're going to fly, yeah. Let's all fly down. In fact, we don't need to know anymore. Is where's the next flight to go down to Exons in order to get the donuts? That's the question we need to be asking. How do we get down to Exons' place to get the donuts? So a donut party, yes, yes, a donut party. It's a while since I've had a donut, to be honest. So that's just made me anchor for a donut. Isn't it funny? How can we can be distracted? We are squirrels after all. We can be distracted by, I won't say the least thing because I don't call donuts the least thing. Um, but let's all find out. So we're thinking about the kind of answers we may get. We may only get an answer in part. We may get an answer that's a mixture of advice, highlighting more than one area, as I said, that could be a financial situation tied in with a relationship situation. Um, maybe you're having a financial problem because you're having a relationship breakup and that's affecting you financially. You know, things aren't always compartmentalized, separated in little boxes. In life, things influence one another, and I think that's why getting too specific in our questions and too specific in the answers that we seek from those questions can sometimes not be so useful and helpful to us in navigating the way forward and giving us the best possible result and advice that we could get. And that that brings me to the motivation of why are we asking for reading? You know, is it just out of curiosity, um, or is it out of a genuine desire to know how to best navigate what next lies ahead in our lives, how to make the best use of the situation that we're in? Is it to be able to grow as much as we can do through the situations that we face? What is it that we're wanting to gain from a reading? Why are we asking in the first place before we even talk about um, what question that we may ask or how we may phrase the question? Um, the first thing is the first question to face is, well, why do we want this reading? What is it that we really want to know? Why do we want to know this? Is it just because we're curious, because it's a bit of fun, um, or is it because we want to genuinely know how we can respond, how we can grow, how we can move forward? Now, I'm not going to make a judgment on which reason is better than another. Um, I'm not going to say which one's right, which one's wrong. Although I do have my own viewpoint. Um, but um, we at first need to know the motivation uh, of why we want the reading and what we're expecting to get out of it. You know, um, is it just a bit of entertainment, or is it out of a genuine knowledge for personal growth and development, and to navigate the situations that we face in life? So when we're talking about questions, that's one question that we can certainly ask ourselves. So what I'm going to do is um, open it up for the last part for anybody to ask a question. So being all about questions. Um, so I'm going to open it up to you guys that if you have a question you want to ask, um, not just about how to phrase a question or whatever, and which one's better than another, although you can do that, of course, or anything related, particularly to what I've shared over the past few tarot Tuesday takeovers, or tarot in general, and I'll do my best to answer, depending on the question, of course. So this is open to a question and answer session to help us to finish off what will probably be a shorter than usual Tarot Tuesday. And as I say, I hope soon that Jen will feel able to resume doing her own Tarot Tuesdays. Um, but that should only be when she feels right and ready in order to do so. Should feel no pressure whatsoever. But of course, we'd all love to see her back and well, most importantly. So I think Jen may have be on the plane now, flying down to Hexons to get the donuts. In fact, the rest of you may be joining her. Hi, Wiley Kylie. Good to see you. Yes, thank you. I hope it's been helpful. I hope everybody else is doing okay. There's a lot of things going about at the moment. My sinuses keep playing up now and again. Well, hopefully you will be back next week, Jen, and it will be a delight if you are. But I don't want you to feel any pressure. You've got to concentrate on finishing getting well, first of all, and then you've got to catch up with other things. And, you know, the days go by very quickly, and you know full well that in the normal run of things that you've been surprised as to how close Tarot Tuesday suddenly becomes when I remind you that it's coming up in a day or so. So um, I hope everybody found this useful. As I say, it's not been as long as some of the other Tarot Tuesdays, but I think we we only need to spend enough time on that particular subject that we need to. Um, so if nobody has any questions, queries, while we're here, seize the moment. I can stay here for another 5 or 10 minutes or so. Well, I'm glad you learned something. That's what I seek to do, to benefit. Okay, well, nobody is rushing to make anything, so that's more or less all I prepared. It's not took me as long as I thought it might do. Um, so we are done, and hopefully, next week we could have Jen, uh, but that will be seen to be confirmed one way or the other in the near future. So to close, I want to thank you all for being here. I want you all to continue sending energy to Jen and to Peter, to get their healing finished, get their healing into fullness, and they can get on with things again, and to the group in general, because I think there's a lot of people around at the moment that could do with a bit of energy, a bit of emotional support, a bit of emotional energy in that sense, a bit of physical energy, mental, strength, and all that kind of thing. Let's look out for one another. Yes, get a post going. Let's get some questions going, and you know, it may give us something to do in the future. So make sure that the questions are the best questions to ask. Right. So we've been at this approaching 50 minutes now, so just under an hour, and I think we've covered the topic really well. I think the information's been given, so I'm going to say goodbye to you all. Take care, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you all again very soon. Okay, then. Bye bye. Okay, Jen, I'll look out for that. Okay, then. See you guys.